Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Board Game Mechanics. I'm Katie, and with me, as always, is...
Hey, everybody, what's going on? It is Jason.
I feel like I need to introduce myself. Hi, I'm Katie. You may remember me from such old-time hits as the Board Game Mechanics episode number 275. I was there.
That was like a year ago, that one. At the rate we're going.
I know. I feel terrible. Nobody wants to hear excuses at the beginning of every podcast. I literally thought it was just like 2 weeks ago that we recorded. Like, I don't know where time goes or if just my concept of time is seriously flawed. But Jason's like, no, it was like 3 weeks ago already. And I was like, what? What are you talking about?
Yeah, I didn't think it was that long either, but I looked it up. So
yeah, so I feel real bad because I was just delusional. I was operating under the thought that, yeah, it wasn't that long ago. I was mistaken.
Yep.
But I think maybe, possibly, we have a solution to a regular recording time coming up for the summer. I don't make any promises, but I have some ideas.
Yeah, so what that really means is see you in 4 weeks. That's what that means.
Well, and the thing is, summer is like crazy for us. Like, I understand our kids are in school, which does cut down on things, but you know, we're both still working. Your band events pick up. I have started teaching a class this summer because, you know, I have so much free time, apparently. And we've got like camps and vacations and all kinds of things. But I'm going to do better. I'm going to be better in the reality of the passage of time. I will at least guarantee that.
Yeah, I'll just say we'll try our best. There we go. Done.
Yeah, I really want to do every other week, or I'm not even going to promise more than that. But if we could get back to every week, at least for the summer, maybe that would be cool. I'll know.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll set our bar low at every 2 weeks, and then if we do better than that, then you know that's the least we can do for not putting out podcasts regularly.
Yeah, although I do think we need to record next week because we need an Origins preview.
That is correct. We do need to do next week for sure.
Okay,
for sure.
Yeah, like for sure. If you haven't watched the Muppet Mayhem, let me tell you that show. So. Everyone loves the Muppets. If you don't, you need to talk to me and I'll slap you with the fish because it's so great. Like the original Muppet Show, the Muppet Christmas Carol is like the only version I want to watch. It's the best. And Muppet Treasure Island is like cinematography. It's classic. One of the newer Muppet movies with Jason Segel, also very good. But Disney Plus put out a series called, I think it's just the Muppet Mayhem.
Yeah, Muppet Mayhem. Yep.
Which is about Dr. Teeth and the Mayhem, and trying to get them to get an album recorded. It is hilarious. It is packed. If you like music at all, it's just like cameos left and right. It's so funny. It's so good. Like my kids enjoyed it and I also enjoyed it. And then I made my kids watch it again with Jason because I knew he would enjoy it from the musical aspect. And I just watched it all over again. So Janice is my favorite. Well, Janice or Animal. Janice, yeah, like for sure.
Yeah, it's a good show. It is good.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, that's a freebie. That's the podcast within a podcast, the Muppets. I am so tired. So if I'm all over the place, this is going to be a real special episode because I am like sleep deprived, NHL, like Stanley Cup playoff hockey is on, so I'm staying up late doing that, like watching that and reading, and I'm starting to grade, and it's just like Katie's podcasts will derail quickly in this era of life, for sure. But maybe I should just go to news. I'm just gonna go to news. And actually, Jason has some news he wants to talk about. I have one game from my faithful and steadfast correspondent in the field that I really liked and want to talk about. But Jason has a few little bits of news he wanted to mention.
Yeah, so I posted a picture of these two games on the Facebook page, but I wanted to expand on it a little bit. So there is a new reprint coming out for the game Finca. And if you don't know what Finca is, it's a little Mancala worker movement game where you're collecting different fruits and you're turning the fruits into different regions on the map to fulfill contracts. That's effectively the game. But this new version has Vincent Dutrait art. It's from Pandasaurus. It comes with the expansion of Finca, which I didn't even know existed until I was looking at it right here. Yeah, it's a little guy and a couple little tiles. And it says that this version was released in 2018, although I've never ever seen it before. And it only started making its rounds recently. So I'm going to say this is inaccurate and that it's coming out soon. So Finca reprint. It's a fantastic game. It's a lightweight game. It's just fun. Just a fun game. So reprint. I wanted to mention that. The box looks fantastic. And it comes with a little expansion, so that's cool. So little piece of news there. Next one is a little bit, not a reprint, but it's an expansion. And this is called Expedition Gears of Corruption. And this is the expansion for a game Expeditions, which is basically the sequel to Scythe in art only. And there's mechs. Right. This is effectively, you're moving your little mech around, you're going to a tile, and you're using the tile. And you're trying to be the first player to get 4 or 6 stars on the board. I can't remember the amount. So similar to Scythe, it's a race to complete the goals. But there's no fighting. There's barely any interaction other than blocking a tile, which is my jam. But this new expansion will adds a 6th player, which is just insane. Don't do that. But it also adds a quick start. So you can start with some resources and an extra super worker that's any color to help get you started, which is pretty cool. Oh. Some new characters, which are basically characters from the actual Scythe. They took them from Scythe and put them in Expedition so you can play as those characters. Dual layer player boards. All the mechs now have dual layer player boards, which is cool, so the cubes won't be moving all over the place.
Which is my biggest problem.
Yes, it was annoying. And there's a special mech that you can fight against in 2-player to make 2-player more interesting. So it kind of gives you a little Anima, but the mech that thing can also win. So you're trying to work together to make sure that thing doesn't win, but you also still need to win. So basically just more stuff, a quicker start, 6 players if you hate yourself, and then cool 2-player variant, which is pretty neat. So if you're a fan of Expeditions and you like to play at 2-player, well, now I feel like it's going to get better. And if you just thought it was maybe too long, maybe the quick start will help. I think it's too long, personally. I like it, but it is too long. So maybe the quick start stuff will help that, get you up and running quicker, get more of the good stuff happening without having to start from nothing. So there you go. So Finca and Expeditions Gears of Corruption. That's my news.
Yeah, I don't like this game. Maybe the quick start will help. Sure. I'm sure I'll try it.
I do like it, and I actually like it a lot solo. Solo is basically like a 3-player game, but all you do is move around mechs, and then you just take your turns. So you're not waiting for other people. You're just moving a mech, and then going. It's really fun. Really good.
Okay. I'm glad you like it. I don't really love the other game.
Scythe?
Yep, that one. I don't really love that one either. So, I think if you're like, Scythe's okay, I just wish it would move maybe a little bit quicker. It sounds like this expansion and Expeditions in and of itself, I think, I like that a tiny bit better.
I like it way better than Scythe, so I'm excited.
Cool. Good. The game I want to talk about is on Kickstarter, and it's from a company that has never made another game yet that I know of. And the game is called, or the company is called Nerdvana Games, which I think is cute. And the game is called Everbloom. Let me tell you, the artwork on this, I am in love with. It's really cool. So in Everbloom, there's like, you can be one of 6 like types of pollinators. So bats, your traditional bats, bees, butterflies, hummingbirds, but also lemurs and lizards. Now, I don't know if lemurs are pollinators in real life. I find that
I've never
very
heard that.
interesting. It's possible.
They didn't do it in the Madagascar movie.
Oh my gosh. Well, they were too busy dancing and dealing with
They
the
like to
penguins.
move it.
Yeah, that's right. But apparently you are pollinating. So you're trying to create this like habitat of hybrid beings, which I think is kind of strange. But it's like animals, the hybrid beings are like animals and plants mixed together, which I think is kind of cool in like a fantastical way. And the art, I think, is what is cool about that. So you send like your pollinators out to these different places to try and kind of like win cards to into your habitat to like kind of migrate. So there's like you have your own faction. You got faction ships that go out on these land markers. You're sending out your pollinators to try and win like these hybrid cards that you can use. And then like if you have the most pollinators on a card, you get the card and it goes into like this biome of your habitat. The card has a bonus on it, which is cool. And then there's like a pollination phase where your pollinators can go out to these different groves and like and you can like put them on your hybrid cards in your habitat. So you're getting nectar and you're like creating these like hybrids to get points. And the most points wins. But the art is really, really, really cool. The colors they chose, I love. Like the cover is like this lion, but its mane is made of leaves and it's got flowers and a flower on its tail. Like it's just this whimsical. To me, it seems like it would be a chill experience to play. Very beautiful, just fun, interesting game. There's a deluxe copy, but I don't. The art is on the regular version, and it looks really good. You're doing so, like the basic kinds of mechanics. Some like worker placement. Then you're trying to do bonuses and things. I just think that's really cool, and it's only like 3 rounds. So it seems like it's not going to take a long time, but often things that have really that short level of rounds, I find have really give you like really great ability to make decisions to try and like chain bonuses that you can get from things. Oh, okay. So this team created Bunkers and Badasses tabletop RPG. Interesting.
Yeah, I've never heard of that.
Me either, but this is like area control, some resource management, some set collection, in just a really beautiful world of plants and animals. I don't know, it just speaks to me. And it says 60 to 90 minutes, which I think is pretty great. It's 4 players, but you have the choice of up to 6 factions that you can play. So I think I like that as well, that you can kind of pick different things. So if you like really beautiful art, if you like set collection, area control, resource management, if you have somehow heard of Bunkers and Badasses, check out Everbloom. There are about 9 days left on this Kickstarter from the time this episode drops. And just the base game is $46, which I feel is like reasonable MSRP kind of standard pricing.
How much is the deluxe? Is there a deluxe?
There is a deluxe. This also comes with the promo pack, which I think is cool, just the regular. The deluxe has like a wooden faction pollinator, so your little factions are wood, and there's like wooden faction chips, and you get like a deluxe wooden insert, and that's $87.
That's not bad for all that extra wood.
No. Oh, and then you also get deluxe. Well, that's weird. Oh, you get deluxe faction poker style chips, which are cool.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool.
And a promo pack, so that's not bad. Because I'm wondering, what do you get? You get wooden faction pollinators and wooden faction chips in your basic pledge.
I don't know. We don't have to figure out the difference. I was just curious.
No, I'm just saying the difference is the insert and these deluxe like poker style faction chips. So honestly, I think that the basic is a really good deal because you have wooden factions and things in that basic one.
Yeah, it sounds cool. I know nothing about this, but it sounds pretty interesting. The theme's a little funky, but that's okay.
Yeah, I mean, why not? It's on Tabletop Simulator.
All right. Yeah, cool.
Yeah. So that's what we have for news tonight.
All right, so let's talk about some games that we played, because since we haven't been around here for a minute, we have some games. So we're going to talk about 3, and the first one is one that I've been wanting to play for a while, so I finally got it off the shelf, and we played it with Katie's cousin and her husband, and it is Colosseum. We played it before, but it's been a while, so I wanted to play it again. And this is a game where you basically, everybody has their own Colosseum, which is a little weird, but whatever. We all have our own Colosseum, and we're trying to put on different performances. And basically what this boils down to is it's some bidding for these tokens. It's kind of like a set collection deal, where you're trying to get these different tokens of maybe battleships or warriors, lions, if you're trying to tame a lion show, some comedians, all that kind of thing. And you're trying to get all the pieces that you need to put on your show. You're also, there's some rolling and moving where you're trying to get these special senators and emperors and I don't know, who cares, into your visitors into your Colosseum, and they will give you extra points. You can have an emperor's doge or whatever. They'll let you roll extra dice to help you manipulate those people.
Loge.
And there's trading. Yeah, I call it a doge every time. There's trading, so you can, try to help each other out. Well, not help each other out, but get what you need to try to put on the best show that you can. The least, if you have not all the required tokens, you're going to lose some points. So you're just trying to do as much as you can across 5 rounds. The interesting thing about this game is every time you put on a performance, you're going to get some points. The next time you put on a performance, you have to outdo yourself. So you're always trying to put on a bigger and better show. So there's pressure. You need to upgrade your Colosseum. You need to get those visitors in there. You need to get some stadiums in there, some stadium seating so people can come watch you. Get special actors that will come to help you get more prestige. So every time you put on a play, it's always got to be bigger. It's always got to be better because they'll mess around in Rome. They want better all the time. This is a really fun game. I messed a couple rules up. I don't think I made the game less fun, but I did mess a couple rules up. But yeah, I really enjoy this game. We have the TMG one that doesn't look as cool, but it's the one that was available. But yeah, I really like this, and I definitely want to get it out and play it again because it was a good time. So, how'd you feel about Colosseum this time?
I liked it, partially because I won. That was good. I don't always love where it's like trading or whatever, because I will trade with you, and most of my trading happens on a personal, relational level. I want to help you out. It's important to me. However, I do like to win games. So I find that I'm not very effective at games of trading. This one, I think, though, is an exception to that rule because you can trade things back. And it's like, okay, well, I needed it for a time and now I can move on. So I really like that.
Yeah.
And you also are really looking ahead because yes, you could put on the same play same show each time, but with that idea of I have to outdo myself, you do want to kind of upgrade to shows that are bigger, give you more points, but they require more stuff. And
And a
So
bigger
that's
Colosseum.
and a
Too.
bigger Colosseum. So kind of balancing that and thinking about, okay, what do I have that I want to keep that I can use in the future? Like, what is a natural segue for me to move on to the bigger, badder, like crazy Gone with the Wind-esque Roman equivalent plays. We're putting on Ben-Hur here. Do I have any chariots? Do I have any gladiators? What do I need to get there? And I think that's really cool. Also, like manipulating those visitors to get them, because that honestly was what really worked for me. I had like everybody and their mom visiting my plays, which
Yeah, it was dumb. It was dumb.
it was awesome. And I didn't even I didn't even expand my Coliseum. I stay with my original size, and I just got probably
you got a 3, didn't you?
oh yeah, I guess a 3, but I didn't go to the biggest size, I guess.
Right, yeah.
Which is where some of the big points are, but I did do the biggest for the size that I had, and then I just got everybody to come see it all at one time, and that was really a big boost to my points, and that made a big difference. And I think that helped me squeak out the win there at the end. So yeah, I think it's a fun game because there's lots of different things happening. So yeah, like if you can't bid and get what you want in an auction, you still won't be able to trade for it and can be very nice about trading, or you can be very cutthroat about trading. And I think that there's room for all of that in the game. So yeah, I had a good time.
Yeah, and yeah, even the trading's still not going to give you everything you need. So even if you do trade, it's still hard. So there you go, to get what you need. All right, so next up is a game that we got sent from Rio Grande because they sent us a pile of games twice, 3 times actually. And this game is called Temporum. And this is a game from the designer of Dominion, Donald X. Vaccarino, and it's about time travel, whatever. It's about, there are these cards on the board, and there's 4 different zones. It moves from future to the past. Each of the zones is a little bit farther in the past because you start in the future and you can move around. And each of the cards are going to have some kind of special ability. Now, the trick here is only certain cards are available because that's the actual timeline. And there's these little clock hands that are pointing to the cards that you're able to go to. So on your turn, maybe if you want to go to a different card and you're in front, if you're behind the timeline, you can manipulate the time to make a new card part of the current reality. That sounds a lot more confusing than it is. Really, it's just changing which card's available. And each of the cards are going to let you draw more cards into your hand, play some cards, or maybe score some cards. And what you're trying to do is you're playing cards to earn money most of the time. Sometimes they have other little special abilities as well. You're drawing cards because you need cards in your hand. And then you're scoring cards because that's the whole point of the game. It's a race to get your 10 crowns down from the level 1 to the level 4, from the past to the future. First player to get those crowns down to the future is the winner. So you're trying to manipulate these cards, take advantage of the cards in the best way you can to be the first player to get all your crowns down to the bottom. Now, when we played it last time, there was an issue where someone just stayed on one card the whole time, and that card would let you draw, play, or score. So it became this thing where, you could always do whatever you wanted. You never had to move, and you could basically have your way with the game. And that wasn't as interesting. I wish that would have not happened, but that's just the way the cards came out. And at the end of the day, I don't think the cards in the different areas are that exciting. You know that level 1 is going to be drawing cards. Level 2 is playing cards. And level 3 is the scoring cards. So that wasn't as exciting as I wanted. The cards you play are fun, but I think, it's just, it could have had something else going on, I think, to make it a little bit more interesting. So, yeah, I do like it, but I'd like a little more. So what do you think about this game?
I think it felt like the beginning of an idea that could be cool. I just don't feel like it was executed all the way. Like it feels like a half thought. Like, okay, yeah, this idea of like a moving, flow of time is cool, and that limits the things you can do. I think there weren't enough options. The board was too small for that. Again, the very broad cards weren't limiting enough. It was okay.
And there's a whole pile of cards for those different locations too, and you only use 5
never
each
use
game.
them.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah.
It's weird. But I mean, I liked it. It felt kind of Dominion-esque, especially when you can just hang up at the top and just play whatever you want, do whatever you want. So it has a similar vibe to that. Play a card, do the stuff on it. But it was fine. I don't hate it. I just wish the locations were a little more exciting. All right, and the last one we're going to talk about is another game we played with Katie's cousin. Actually, we played all these with Katie's cousin and her husband. And this is Ravels. And this is a game about knitting or crochet. I'm not 100% sure which one it is. Who cares? You're collecting yarn, and you're using yarn to make cute little things like a teddy bear, some gloves, scarf, blanket, all that kind of thing. And then you're using those things that you've made to fulfill like Christmas present, Christmas gift lists. And you're trying to get as many of those done as you can for points. Everybody also has a special thing that they can make. And if they make it, it's worth extra points. The cool thing about this game is when you're selecting an action, you can never do the same action twice in a row, kind of like the scythe deal where you always have to move your little pawn to a new area to take that action. So if I wanted to craft a bunch of stuff, I can't just do that all at once. I got to craft and maybe go shopping and then come back and craft again, which is pretty neat. Really simple game. Collect yarn, use yarn to make stuff, turn stuff in for bigger points, and hopefully you are the winner. This time that we played it, I actually enjoyed this a lot more. I don't know. Last couple times I wasn't feeling it, but I was kind of digging it this time. And it's a really simple game with just some set collection and some contract fulfillment, and I like that. So yeah, there we are. So how do you feel about Ravels this time?
I've always liked it. I think it's cute. It is very chill, which sometimes it's nice to have a chill game. So I do like that about it. Not overly complex, but when am I going to do something? And especially at the end, like I feel like the end comes on so fast and you're like, crap, I have all of this stuff that I need to do something with. This is going to be a problem.
That's true, because leftover yarn is negative points.
Right. And, things that you haven't completed, patterns that are left undone, like that is rough. So I quite enjoy it. But it's not my favorite game, but it is a good one. I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, I agree with that assessment. Not my favorite game, but it is a good one. Okay. All right, so those are the games we played. Moving on.
All right, so Jason had something else entirely picked out for us to use as the main idea for this episode. And I was just like, I feel like we've done that before. I don't know. And also, we just had Memorial Day weekend here in the U.S., which signals kind of the unofficial beginning of summer. Our kids, today was their last day of school. It is summer break. So I thought it would be fun to talk about games that are summer themed. Now, again, interpretations may vary, but these are our, I would say, top 5 games that are summer themed or make us think of summer. So Jason is going to start.
All right, so my number 5. Now, hear me out. Okay.
Oh boy, that never is good.
So in the summer, there's this thing in Ohio. We're the lucky ones. We have this in Ohio. It's called the Gathering of the Juggalos. Whoop, whoop. Now, that's summertime. So a game that really makes me think of summer is Into the Echoside, because the Gathering takes place in the summertime, and nothing like rolling your windows down, cruising the town with all your Juggalo homies, cranking some insane clown posse.
I'm sorry. I mean, are they doing summer type things during the game? Like, Are there any cards that are
They're
summer?
existing. They're smoking weed. I guess you can do that in summer, right?
You can do that in winter.
Anytime. That's true. But that's outside. It's in the summertime. It takes place at the gathering. Well, the game doesn't, but there is the gathering.
See, the game doesn't even take place at the gathering.
That's correct. So my real number 5 is actually a game from Reiner Knizia called Longboard, which is about going surfing and, yeah.
Actually, about summer.
You surf in the summertime, so there you go. The end of the Echoside was kind of a joke, but my actual number 5 is Longboard. It's a simple little collecting cards, and you have these different colored surfboards that you're trying to make as long as you can, and you're trying to get stickers on them to score points. It's a really simple game. Kind of feels like Lost Cities-esque, which is also Knizia. People can take your cards from you, but if they do, they got to give you compensation with some of their cards, but they might not be cards you want, all that kind of thing. Really fun game. Cool surfboarding theme, very summer. So that's my real number 5 because Katie wouldn't let me do Into the Echoside. So there you go. My number 5, Longboard.
Yeah, when I first thought of that, I'm like, maybe that makes sense. And then the more I thought about it, the more I was like, no, that makes no sense. But since I already mentioned it, you were like, yeah, let's run with that. I was like, maybe we shouldn't.
I put a real one next to it. I got it.
I appreciate you. It's not like you're like, there's a sun on there, so it's a summer game. My name is Dan.
That's next. That's my next 4.
Your next one is just...
it's just about the sun.
The letters SU and the letters that spell summer were on the cover somewhere.
Yep.
If you scramble them. My number 5 is a game about... This, I mean, maybe this is a stretch. I don't know. But when I think of islands and I think of, treasure hunting, no one is washing up on, no one's thinking about going to an island. Well, I mean, I guess maybe you think about going to the island in the middle of winter because you want to summer because it's warm there. You've got a beach, you've got waves. So my number 5 is Silver and Gold. Silver and Gold is a flipping rate, I would say.
Yep.
Where you have these little islands in front of you, and as you are flipping shapes to cross off on the little grids on each island to fill your island, to cross off treasure and palm trees to score points. I always am like, I don't really like roll and rides, flipping rights. But then there's some that I really, really like. And this one is one of them. Very simple, easy, quick, fun, dry erase things. So it could be, just a few cards by the pool. I think it speaks summer. So my number 5 is Silver and Gold.
Yeah, I'll let it slide. It's piratey. I think it's piratey, but I guess there aren't any pirates in the game, though.
No.
Yeah. I just always assume it's pirates for some reason. I don't know.
Why? Why it's always got to be pirates?
Because there's hidden treasure and X's, like X marks a spot. So I just assume it's treasure maps. I don't know.
I like treasure, and I'm not a pirate.
I know. You're right. Well.
That you know of.
You're probably right. I don't think you are. Mm. All right. So my number 4, this one might be a stretch as well. But it takes place, we have an island. We are collecting fruit on an island, selling our fruit to boats. We may be making ice cream and selling that as well, and it's called Juicy Fruits. So I think while this is not necessarily, it could be any time because the island could be anywhere, kind of like yours. Mm-hmm. Ice cream makes me think of summertime. Harvesting fruit is summer-ish, adjacent at least. So I'm going to say it works. So in this, you're harvesting fruit, and you're selling the fruit to these different boats to score points. If you have certain types of pieces on your board, you can move it around and try to create ice cream using the fruit or sherbet or whatever. I don't know. Anything you want to do to score points. You can also make lemonade if you have certain types of buildings in your thing. You can have a gator pond, a gator attraction. That's cool. That's summery.
You can?
You can, yeah. One of the big buildings is a gator attraction.
Where have I been?
I don't know. It came out in the last game we played. So yeah, this might be a little bit of a stretch, but I feel like it is kind of summer-esque themed. Like people are going to these kinds of places for the summer. So say like a Sandals. That's kind of what it makes me feel like, a Sandals resort. So yeah, my number 4 is Juicy Fruits.
I mean, I feel like Tropical Island to me, while you can be on one not in the summer, when you don't live in a tropical location, those kinds of things make you think summer because it's not what it's like here. My number 4 is not a tropical island. I went outside of it. It is more geared towards things that you do in the summer, like with family. We don't because Jason hates the outdoors, but the game parks. One of my college roommate, she actually worked over the summers when we were in college at Yellowstone National Park and loved it. She worked at Old Faithful, out by Old Faithful. And so playing this game, and especially with the new expansion where like you set up your little tents and stuff, that really makes me think of going on your summer family trip. Sometimes, especially like as teenagers, you get stuck with them and you're like, oh, we have to go someplace educational. It just reminds me the idea of kind of taking a trip. And the game is super fun too. I love this game. Looking at the pictures on the cards of the different national parks, I feel is very inspiring of vacations and places you might want to visit because it's so cool and all of the cards are different. That to me is a real draw and makes me really think of summer and summer vacation. So my number 4 is parks.
All right. There are some winter places in there though.
That is true.
So,
but I would go to a winter place probably on my summer vacation.
yeah, I guess that's true. It can work both ways, I guess. Or you can, if you live in a hot place, you want to go to a cold place. Mm-hmm. I guess that's true.
Right.
All right, so speaking of games that had the word summer in their title, told you they were coming. And my number 3 is actually probably the first one that I thought of just because it's what we do kind of in the summertime as a family, and it's called Summer Camp. And this is not the kind of camp we go to, but this is a camp where kind of like you're going there and you're doing like crafts and stuff and
it's sleepaway camp. It's 4-H camp. It's YMCA camp. Yeah.
Correct. There you go. YMCA camp. But effectively this is a deck building game where you have this little meeple on these 3 different tracks and you're trying to move up the track, collect badges from participating in things. You can do a whole bunch of different events of different things. You can do cooking, you can do outdoor activities, you can do arts and crafts. There's a couple other ones that I can't. Music, I think. There's so much. It screams summer because that's what you do at summer camps. I've never gone because again I hate the outside. But if I did, think of Camp Nowhere, that movie. If you've ever seen that, this gives that kind of vibe, and I dig it. So
Ernest goes to camp.
That's true. A lot of people have camp movies, but fun deck builder with a cool summer camp theme and had to be on the list. So my number 3, summer camp.
Nice. I have gone to some form of summer camp. Basically my whole childhood into adulthood. And we spent a lot of time at camp over the summer. My number 3 makes me think of some of my favorite types of vacation, which is going to the beach. My favorite is the Florida Panhandle. I love Destin and Gulf Shores. And so my number 3 is a little card game called Sea Salt and Paper. Apparently, like everyone decided to discover it on BG. They're like, oh, this game, no one ever talks about it. It's so fun. I'm like, where have you been? I have been talking about it and I've been playing it. Embarrassing. Sea Salt and Paper, it's a set collection game. Very simple as far as what you do on your turn. I've taught this game many times. You either draw 2 cards from the stack, put one in your hand, discard one, or you draw one from one of the discard piles. Then there are certain cards that work in pairs. If you get one of those duos, you lay it down, they score you a point, they give you a special action. The scoring is the trickiest part, but we have the expansion, which is called what? Saltier? No.
Extra salt.
Extra salt.
So yes, effectively saltier.
Which has some player aids in it that I'm like, yes, this is exactly what I've needed this whole time. Thank you for doing that. That I think really help break stuff down and help people understand a little bit better some of the nuances of scoring and what's in the game. And also the new cards they added are really fun, super cute. I think make it add some interactive elements as well. It's just such a good, fun little game. I've introduced this to many people, and they're like, "This game is so great." I just checked maybe 2 weeks ago, and it was on Amazon for a very, very low, reasonable price. So if you have not played this, if you like card games at all, also all the pictures are origami of things from the sea or in the sand. Yeah, adorable. You need to get it. So my number 3 is sea salt and paper.
Yeah, that's a good one. And it's just, I mean, it screams beach. So, yeah, for sure.
Literally, you open the deck and it goes, beach!
It does. It does. Yeah, every time. It's annoying. All right, so my number 2, speaking of games that have summer in the title, I have another one. And this is called Skate Summer. Now, the reason I put this on the list, 1, I think it's a fun game. It's got push your luck. But 2, when I was a kid, I didn't skate, but I rollerbladed. And it was always summertime. I was doing dumb stuff. And this game kind of reminds me of that. In this game, you have this roller or skateboarder, and you're taking him around or her around, and you're trying to tag places. You're trying to visit these different ramps, and you're trying to spell out the word skate. So it kind of feels like Tony Hawk Pro Skater in a board game a little bit. There's some push your luck where you're playing these cards and trying not to lose your balance and fall off, all that kind of thing. And I just enjoyed this game a ton. And it reminded me of my childhood a little bit, except I didn't skateboard, and if I did, I'd probably break my neck. So other than that,
it's exactly like your childhood.
Exactly like my childhood. Summertime, sitting in my room playing Tony Hawk Pro Skater is really where I am. My number 2, Skate Summer, really fun game, and it has summer in the title, so it's got to be a summer game. So there you go.
Oh, geez. My number 2 is like my childhood. No,
Is it? I thought you grew up very differently.
Very differently than you. No, my number 2 is this is a 2-player only game, right?
No, you can play 4.
Oh, I love this game. Jason and I picked this game up. This is no, I don't. I'm not going to embarrass myself and try to say who I think the publisher is. The game is Walking in Burano, or as Jason says it, Walking Burano. I always say
Burano every time. Yeah, Burano.
Walking in Burano. There is another game, Burano.
We have that as well.
But which I don't think I've played actually. But Walking in Burano is a tableau building game. And it's just like this little puzzly game where you're trying to lay out kind of a street view of Burano, and it's the buildings there. And there's a sidewalk level, there's a second floor, and then there's the rooftop. And there's also like decorations, there's cats, flowers.
Santa Claus.
And you can get, and Santa Claus. So, but Santa Claus doesn't like come on the buildings. You can get him to add to your building. So buildings have like so many chimneys, doors, windows, those kinds of things. So not only are you building your buildings, there are rules on how those buildings can laid out as far as the colors, what can go next to each other. And then you're going to recruit either locals or tourists that can go in front of, like on the sidewalk by your buildings, basically at your building, to score you in-game points. So like if you get Santa, for instance, Santa wants a building with the most chimneys, obviously. There's like one local who's like the crazy cat lady. She wants, the house has the most kitties. You score points per cat or whatever. Very simple, again, relaxing, but it's like this destination. It's like a little seaside town. I don't even know where Burano is, so this is terrible. I'm doing a really good job with this.
I was like, don't ask me. I don't know.
It's Italian.
I call it Burano, so that's how much I know.
Yeah. Okay. I was right. It is. So, a place that you would vacation to because it's in Italy. I was right. So it's actually an island in Venice.
I knew that. I knew that.
You shut up. So there's water everywhere. Venice is definitely a vacation destination I'd like to go to, and it would have to be during the summer, I would think, to get that time away if I were to take the family. Just a very like relaxing. The colors are like bright and fun. Like it just says summer to me. And you can fight me if you want. It's fine. But my number 2 is walking in Burano.
No, I agree. Because the only way I'm going to Burano is on a summer vacation. So there you go. Or probably
And even
not at all.
then, you're not going.
Yeah, that's more likely. All right, so my number 1, it does not have summer in the title. But what screams summer more than a music festival? It's not Into the Echoside. When you think of a music festival like Woodstock, summertime, my number 1 is Come Together, which is a worker placement game about putting on basically Woodstock. They just don't have the rights to Woodstock. This big music festival, you're setting up food vendors, drink vendors. You're trying to get artists to come so they can play on the stage. You're trying to expand your stage so more fans can come watch these people that they like. Ultimately, to try to become the best music festival against everyone else's music festival. It's epitome of summertime. You're not going to be going to one of these things in the freezing cold. It's got to be summer. It's got to be outdoors and loud music in your face. That's summertime. So number 1, Come Together. Nothing says summer more than a music festival.
Like being around a bunch of dirty hippies.
Dirty hippies. Yes, these are hippies in this game too. This is like a 69, 70s.
They're not all hippies because some of them like the country and western. Some of them.
Well, that's true. Yeah, you got Hank Williams, country and western.
Bocephus. I have to tell you, our daughter came home from school and said, "Oh, like she's in 6th grade, so they have 5th graders come visit the middle school at the end of the year, just so they can kind of see where they're going to go." So she's like, "Yeah, we're going to have a new boy in my class next year." I said, "Oh yeah, what's his name?" "His name is Bocephus." And I was like, "I'm sorry." Because, well, we listen to all sorts of music here. I don't feel like that's a go-to name that my daughter would come up with. And I said, "Are all his rowdy friends coming over tonight?" But she has, she has a student in her class next year in Bocephus.
Are you ready for some football?
I know. I'm excited to meet Bocephus, and
I want to meet his parents. That's what I want to meet.
His parents and his sister Loretta Lynn and Tammy Wynette. Anyway, yeah,
we're not making fun of the kid. We're making fun of his parents.
No, I was like, I'm curious on if they leaned hard into the theme for names or what. I mean, not like we're ones to talk. Our daughters have unique names also, but
not Bocephus.
We didn't go to Bocephus. I did consider. We happened to have all girls because all the like music names I was leaning into were very masculine.
It was just a list of nothing but Bocephus.
No, Lennon, McCartney, Lennox, Hendrix. We had a whole list, but it did not include Bocephus. Spoiler. So my number 1 is not about music festival, and yes, I only went to music festivals in the summer, and it was hot, and everyone was sweaty and smelly.
Yeah, that's how you know it's a good one.
Also, if you want to see like a crazy music festivals, there's some documentaries about music festivals. Woodstock 99, that festival. Whoa,
that was a good
watch
one.
that
Yeah.
documentary. Or the one about Firefest. Woo, what?
The music festival that never happened.
What a cluster. I mean, it's just like a train wreck you can't look away from. And it wasn't during the summer. But actually, isn't what's that really famous one? It's all like the rich, famous people go to.
Running Man?
No.
Burning Man?
Running Man.
Arnold Schwarzenegger's there.
It's not Arnold. No, not Burning Man.
Burning Man.
Coachella. I don't think that's during the summer. I think it just happened like a month ago.
Yeah,
two.
It's more springish, I think. Yeah.
Well, that blows that out of the water. Nice choice.
Well, that's in California. They do their own thing out there.
Speaking of California, my number 1 game takes place there. And so while there is always things that I associate with summer, like the beach and warmth there, all the time, this makes me think of summer. And that game is Santa Monica. Santa Monica, you're building a boardwalk. Boardwalk to me, it's summer nights. I almost started
Under
into
the boardwalk.
then I started singing like the Grease song. I was going to launch into that Summer Lovin', and I was like, nope,
Summer
don't do it.
lovin'.
Don't do it. Hold back. Get through the game. You're building the boardwalk and the adjacent beach front. And then populating it with locals, tourists, and some VIPs. And you're moving them around. You're drafting these cards. There's different activities that occur on some of them where you want to get people there so they can play cornhole or attend the beachfront wedding. You're also just really building this crazy tableau so you can just score as many points as possible, like getting those cards to line up where you have symbols on the different cards that will score off of the cards adjacent to it. Get groups of waves, get your people where they need to be. I really, really love this game. And we don't play it enough because I feel like Jason doesn't like it for some reason. But every time I play it, I'm like, gosh, this game is so good. And it's so summer. It's just beach and waves, summer activities. You're flying kites, you're surfing. There's even some sharks on a card. Like, it's just, to me, this game says summer. So my number one is Santa Monica.
I like it. Sometimes I get boned by the movement. I would really like to try that weekend or whatever expansion that we have. It has the double-sized cards because we've had that forever and just haven't tried it yet.
Yeah. Well, I thought, is this complicated? But it really isn't. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Just looking at it. So, yeah, I love that game. So, I was like, yeah, these games are so great. These games are so summer. And then as we started talking about them, I'm like, do I even know what summer games are?
I mean, I think it can be up for... There's some wiggle room, I think. You can argue anything is a summer game.
I guess.
Antarctica could be a summer game because I want to go to Antarctica and visit it in the summer. There you go. Boom. Done. Chinatown, summer game. I'm going wherever Chinatown is, and I'm going to eat some food in the summertime in Chinatown.
You can also go to Chinatown in the winter and eat food.
Nope. Only summertime.
Okay. So if you think our summer games are crap, please tell me what games that you think are summer themed from your collection. I think there are many that we haven't played. Like, I think Hawaii could give you the feeling of summer.
I played that.
I haven't. Well, you could have chosen it.
But I talked about it. You're a tribe that lives on Hawaii, so I didn't think it counted.
Oh, yeah, that's true. I forgot we did discuss that.
It could have counted, but I didn't count it. I wanted to count into the Echoside instead because that makes more sense.
Sure does. See, it seems so easy. So, yes, I would love to hear what your favorite summer games are, or games that really make you think of summer, or games that you're like, yes, I actually bring this out in the summer, maybe because it's portable, or like Palm Island is like waterproof, or, whatever games you're like, this to me is summer. Hit us up at any of our socials. We have all of them. We have some I don't even know about or understand, which isn't saying much because I'm kind of a boomer.
Katie wants to correspond with you all via fax. We'll get a fax machine and you can correspond.
Actually, I would love it.
Handwritten letters.
Yes, pen friends. Can we please? If someone wants to send us a handwritten letter, number one, that would make my day. Number two, PM me for the address and you will get it. Because
nobody knows how to write handwritten letters anymore.
That is like my favorite thing. I will write you back. It's yes, I prefer that kind of correspondence. Absolutely.
Katie's favorite social media is the post office.
I like the post office.
I'm gonna go send a DM. It'll be there in 3 days.
Oh my gosh. I'm just saying, I really like handwritten notes and letters. Like, I'm really not good at social media. The only thing I use is Facebook, and now all the kids say that that's like
it's
for old
boomers.
people.
Yeah, it's for boomers.
It is. At least I'm not, posting on there like, oh, if you don't post this, post, then
I'm deleting you from my friend list.
no, like whoever runs Facebook, I forget who that is now. Is it Zuckerberg still?
I forget. Yeah, Zuckerberg. Yeah.
He's gonna take all your photos and
Oh yeah, that's so dumb.
All this stuff. At least I don't fall for that. But I just
He's gonna
don't.
steal your water.
Right. Whatever. Come get it. You're welcome to it. I don't even have a filter. Anyway, derailed. How long have we been going at this episode? I'm just random babbling.
We should probably wrap it up.
So needless to say, if you have a passenger pigeon, please send it my way. So yes, tell us about your summer games and enjoy the start of the summer season, unless you're in the Southern Hemisphere, and then enjoy the start of the cooler winter season.
Suckers.
So hopefully we'll work on the next time you hear from us, hopefully next week, will be an Origins preview. Until then, I've been Katie.
And I'm Jason.
Keep gaming, everybody.
Keep gaming and go watch The Gathering. Go see ICP.
I thought that was in Michigan. I thought it was in Detroit.
No, it's in Ohio.
Oh.